As I moved deeper into the attic, I saw it. Shadows flickering across the walls. Not from the flashlight. I was the only source of light. Welcome to my channel. Before we begin, please like and subscribe to my channel. And let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is. My name is Maya Sinclair, and I was 18 when I had the misfortune of spending a weekend completely alone in my family's house. My parents had gone out of town on a business trip, leaving me the keys to the old creaky house in a quiet suburb in Pennsylvania. At first, I was excited. Finally, I had the house to myself. No rules, no curfews, and total freedom. I could watch movies, play games, and stay up as late as I wanted. But by the end of the first night, I realized I might have underestimated what being home alone really meant. I'd always known the attic was strange. Even as a little kid, I could feel it whenever I walked past the door. There was something about it, a weight, a presence, almost like it was alive. That Saturday evening, I sat on the living room couch, earbuds in, streaming my favorite show. The house was quiet. Too quiet. The hum of the refrigerator, the occasional creak from the floorboards, that was normal. Then I heard it, a faint whisper coming from upstairs. Maya. Maya, come here. I froze. My earbuds muffled the sound, but it was there, distinct, clear. I laughed nervously to myself. Okay, Maya, you're imagining it, but the whisper came again. Louder this time. Maya, come here. I got up cautiously and crept toward the attic door at the end of the hallway. My flashlight in hand, I tried to peer through the narrow crack between the door and the frame. Shadows danced on the walls. My heart pounded. The attic door was old and stubborn, but I managed to twist the knob and open it. A wave of cold, musty air rushed out. Dust motes floated in the beam of my flashlight. Boxes and old furniture were stacked haphazardly, and the smell of mold hit my nose. I stepped inside. My foot hit something. A small wooden box toppled over with a loud clatter. My heart leapt into my throat. Maya, don't leave. Come back. This time the voice wasn't faint. It echoed in the attic, low and urgent. My legs trembled. I wanted to run, but my curiosity, and maybe foolish courage, pushed me forward. As I moved deeper into the attic, I saw it. Shadows flickering across the walls. Not from the flashlight. I was the only source of light. The shadows seemed to move independently, stretching, twisting, and vanishing when I tried to focus. I shivered. The attic felt alive, like it was breathing, watching me. Every step I took made the floorboards groan, amplifying the silence. Then I heard scratching. Low, deliberate. Something or someone was moving above the ceiling. I froze. My mind raced. Maybe it was raccoons. Maybe it was just the house settling. But deep down I knew neither explanation fit. Trapped, I tried to backtrack toward the door, but it slammed shut behind me with a deafening bang. I lunged for the handle, twisting and pulling, but it wouldn't budge. Panic set in. My flashlight flickered. Maya, come closer. I spun around. Nothing. Just old boxes stacked unevenly, shadows stretching across the ceiling. But I could feel it. Something was here. Something watching. I tried calling my parents, but there was no signal. I screamed. I banged on the door. Help me, help me. The voice sounded closer now. It wasn't coming from the floorboards or the ceiling. It was inside the walls themselves. The long night I spent what felt like hours trapped in that attic. Every shadow, every sound made me jump. The whispering continued intermittently. Maya, come here. And sometimes more urgent, more desperate. Don't leave. Don't leave. I tried to focus on rational thoughts. Maybe it was stress, maybe the isolation, maybe my imagination. But the attic wasn't a place your imagination could conjure up. It was real and it was alive. Finally, the first hint of dawn crept through the small attic window. I forced the door open and stumbled downstairs, panting. I bolted out of the house and called my neighbor, Mrs. Whitaker, who agreed to check the attic with me. When we went back, the attic was normal, dusty, cluttered, old. No shadows, no whispers, no signs of anyone or anything being there. I never told my parents exactly what happened. They would have laughed it off, blamed stress or overactive imagination. But even now, I know it's still there. Sometimes late at night, when the house is quiet and I'm alone, I hear the faintest whisper from above. Maya, come here. And I can't help but shiver. My name is Evan Mercer. I'm 20 years old and I had the house completely to myself one weekend. My parents were out of town on a business trip, leaving me with the keys to the family home in a quiet suburban neighborhood. A weekend alone sounded like a dream, until I learned that sometimes being home alone isn't freedom. It's a trap. It was late Saturday night. I had spent the day lounging around playing video games and catching up on sleep. The house was completely silent, except for the occasional hum of the refrigerator and the faint creak of the old wooden floors. I was in the living room, headphones on, streaming some music. The porch light cast long, soft shadows across the yard. At first, I didn't notice anything unusual. Then I heard it, a faint sound beneath the porch, a scraping, rhythmic, deliberate. I paused the music and strained my ears. The sound continued. Something or someone was moving under the wooden porch steps. I froze, trying to convince myself it was a stray animal. Maybe a raccoon, a cat, or a squirrel. But the sound was too deliberate, too heavy. It wasn't random. I tiptoed to the front window and peeked through the blinds. Shadows shifted, but I couldn't make out a figure. "It's nothing, Evan," I whispered to myself. "Just your imagination." But my gut told me otherwise. Minutes passed and I could hear faint scratching and tapping from beneath the porch. Not fast, but methodical, like someone was testing the strength of the wood. I grabbed my flashlight and quietly walked to the porch door. The closer I got, the heavier my heart felt. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but I had to see. I crouched low, shining the beam under the porch. Nothing. Just the shadowy underbelly of the wooden steps. Then I felt it. The air grew colder, thicker, almost like it was pressing against my chest. And I heard it, a faint whisper. "Evan, come closer." I stumbled back, nearly dropping the flashlight. My heart was racing so fast I could barely breathe. I fumbled for my phone and dialed 911, my hands shaking uncontrollably. 911, what's your emergency? "There's someone or something under my porch," I shouted, almost crying. "I can hear it moving. I swear it's alive." The operator instructed me to stay inside, keep all doors locked, and wait for the police. I bolted the front and back doors, double-checked the windows, and crouched behind the couch, clutching the phone like it was a lifeline. For what felt like hours, I heard it. Scraping, shifting, faint footsteps moving around the edges of the porch, circling the house. Sometimes closer, sometimes further away. I didn't dare look. Every creak of the floor, every rustle of leaves, every whisper of wind made me jump. I stayed perfectly still, holding my breath, trying not to make a sound. Then it stopped. Silence. When the police finally arrived, they searched the entire property. They got down on their knees, checked under the porch, circled the house. Nothing. No footprints, no evidence, no sign that anyone or anything had been there. "Are you sure someone was here?" one officer asked. "Yes," I shouted. "I heard them. I saw shadows. Something was under my porch." They gave me sympathetic looks. "Maybe it was an animal, or maybe your imagination," said the other officer. But I knew the truth. I had felt it. I had heard it. Even after that night, the house didn't feel safe. I could still hear faint scratching from under the porch if I stayed up late enough. It was always there, just out of sight, just beyond the threshold of the front door. Sometimes when the house was quiet, I swore I could hear soft breathing beneath the wooden steps. I'd check with my flashlight and, of course, nothing. But I knew it was there, waiting, patient, silent, until the next time it decided to move. I eventually had friends over to help me feel safer. But even then, I kept one eye on the porch, one ear tuned to the slightest noise. The worst part is knowing that no one else could see it. No one else could hear it. It's not something you can call the police for again, because they found nothing. All I can do is wait and hope. And pray that stranger under the porch. I still hear it sometimes whispering, "Evan, come closer." 30 pulpikiristä stannar hossande.